fast.
You can turn and burn. Why don't you guys slide over this way a little bit? Come on, cozy up. Cozy up.
Knights of the Green Table.
So anyway. I saw Katina doing me. She's like Facebook queen.
She's gonna figure it out.
I told Irene, I said, you gotta do it like that every day. Just get on.
She rivals Michael Burke on Facebook. She does. She's which is good.
It's because I'm so short.
All right, Katina, lead us off in a prayer. And never leave me down to sleep.
Hey, I thought of you today.
That's how you do it.
Don't think about my nighttime. That's the scary
We're
thing.
talking about Facebook and the live doing away with it. Have you heard any update on that?
Oh, they're doing away?
Yeah, we heard that on the news.
Yeah, you know, because of that.
Oh, like the Facebook Live. I haven't heard that, but I've been kind of keeping up with it.
Well, today it was on the news.
Wow.
Murders? They would probably want those on there because they could probably track the people who did it. It's like they dropped their wallet at the scene of the crime. I mean,
Instagram has a live product.
Yeah.
So they just
I
came
do
out.
have
I think it's more of a
quote.
suicide.
All right, give us a quote.
When you quit, you give yourself permission.
Say it again.
When you quit, you give yourself permission to give up.
There you go. Marcus, can you put that little video on?
Yeah.
Like the gym. When you quit the gym, give yourself permission.
It's harder to go back to.
I saw this today. This
Well,
guy.
no, technically, Muhammad's trying to quit his job so he can do real estate. So that's a different quitting.
Are you really?
That's because
Trying
it's
to-
a job.
I saw this today on Facebook. This is this guy, Nobel Peace Prize winner, economist. Most of us would know the guy's name. And I saw this on Facebook today.
Peace Prize or economics?
Economics, yeah. And it just summed up what we do is what we're trying to do here is, work as a team or not. It takes a collaboration of all our minds, all our efforts, to get one simple product. And if Marcus can click it on.
The pencil. There's not a single person in the world who could make this pencil. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood from which it's made, for all I know, comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut down that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. This black center, we call it lead, but it's really graphite, compressed graphite. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it comes from some mines in South America. This red top up here, the eraser, bit of rubber, probably comes from Malaya, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessmen with the help of the British government. This brass ferrule, I haven't the slightest idea where it came from, or the yellow paint, or the paint that made the black lines, or the glue that holds it together. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who might hate one another if they ever met. When you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds from the time of all those thousands of people. What brought them together and induced them to cooperate to make this pencil? There was no commissar sending out orders from some central office. It was the magic of the price system, the impersonal operation of prices that brought them together and got them to cooperate to make this pencil so that you could have it for a trifling sum. That is why the operation of the free market is so essential, not only to promote productive efficiency, but even more, to foster harmony and peace among the peoples of the world.
You? It's interesting. You don't ever think about that, about how many people it takes to make one small product that we take all for granted,
Well,
like a pencil.
and we talk about investing. I don't want any partners. I like to work alone. Well, no, you're wearing a shirt because you'd be naked if you didn't have the guy making that shirt for you. And you drove there in a car, so you're partnered with Ford or whoever you got, and the gas company, and everybody else. And, and of course, then you're using money and you got it from somebody. Nobody's working for themselves. Everybody uses partners to do everything. And we say this all the time in here. Partners are the only way to survive in this world. Look at the Survivor show. It doesn't last, The last guy on the once he gets everybody off the island, he wants to get off too because there's nobody else to play with, So that's what we're trying to build here is a conglomeration of thoughts from all over the country. Those guys down in Florida, I got Paul Kazanowski hooked up with those guys down there. Paul's buying property down there. He'll in a year he'll be buying 10 times the property in Florida in here. Scott Layden, he sold it. I was in Sanibel. He said, "Well, I want to buy some property in Sanibel." I said, "All right, I'll have Robert call you." Greg Pacelli, what's this guy's name? You know his name? You see him on Facebook. Greg, he's a big investor here in Nashville. He said he was from Cape Coral. He said, "I want to buy on Sanibel." I had Robert call him. This is what we have to do. We have to start working with our people, investors. We want to buy houses here, but we have no money. But you know what? Those guys out in California got plenty of money because they want to be investors. But they can't buy anything less than $1 million out there for the cheapest property. The two outfits that two people I met in Los Angeles and San Francisco. I got Robert talking to those people about, hey, if you can't invest there, call me up from Florida. We should be doing the same thing, if you can't invest there and you got anybody got extra money, put your hand out. I'll find you properties. That's what we have to do here.
Tell them about what you did this past week.
I was just telling them, there's guys down there everybody wants to buy the big houses, and you can buy them. If you got the money, you got the connections, you can buy that $300,000 house. But so many people can't buy. They have no money or very little money. So my friend out in Florida, he said, "Mark," I want to start, but I don't have any money. I don't have any to start. And of course, I was telling you, there is ways to no money down. So I said, "Well, get in the car and I'll show you how to do this." And literally, he got in the car. I got my Arena, and we took off up the road. And we had some ideas. I went to Realtor.com, put in like $25,000 in down on houses, mobile homes and lots or whatever, and found a mobile home not too far away. And after I checked out a few other things, I went up to that mobile home park, pulled in, didn't even get to the house that I was going to. It was a open house banner. I turned the corner, and some lady's waving to me from a window, so she comes running out. She said, "Are you looking for property?" I guess everybody on Saturday, everybody looks for property up there. And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, there's one down the way here. It's just been fixed up. Old. I mean, these are old campers, old trailers. There was double wides, but these were all single wides. And 10-6. So I said, "I don't want anything fixed up." She said, "Well, right across the street, There's one right here you can buy for 4,000. I said, well, hey, now we're talking. You know, so I pull right into the driveway. She's opening the lock. She's like the nosy, busybody lady of the neighborhood, and that's what you want, you know. So she's in there. She's telling me all about the house and this and that. And, you know, it was a piece of crap. You know, $4,000 was a piece of crap. And a $600 maintenance fee, so that wasn't fun either. But you know, they pay for, you know, sometimes, whatever. So we go in, we look around, but it was a big bedroom, big living room and kitchen, you're right in the middle, island kitchen. The appliances were fairly new, gas stove, this is unusual in Florida. And then a big, 12 by 14 living room, had no carpet. You can see they just redid all of it with nice plywood, real plywood, not that flake board stuff. So the guy redid the whole plywood floor with no carpet, so just roll out one sheet of carpet. A bonus room on one side, about 20, 30 feet long by 8 or 10. And then a carport on the other side, the full length, and then in the back had the little tin shed for the washer and dryer. Walked around the outside, it was a brand new hot water tank. Air conditioner was a little old, central air, and it had a window air conditioner in that little bonus room. And a brand new gas tank from the gas company. And the roof, he just retarred the roof and stuff like that. I don't expect, I don't believe anybody, I don't expect anybody, you know. I just see what could be, you know, I know it could be fixed fast and cheap. And so I said, listen, I'm not even going to beat you down. I'll take it for 4. I said, but listen, if you find me any more of that, me and you are going to be good friends, you know. So we end up, I said, listen, I'll give you the money on Monday. So on that night, I go to one of my friends' houses and I'm talking totally unrelated. And I said, hey, listen, if you know anybody, you always be talking real estate. Always be talking real estate. That's what we do for life. We're in real estate. You talk real estate to everybody, no matter if your old friend who doesn't want to talk real estate or not. I said, you know anybody, if you ever know anybody want some property, he said, well, geez, just the other day, the lady who cleans my house, she's 45 years old, got kicked out of her place, needs an apartment. I said, well, geez, instead of telling her to have an apartment, let's get her own property that she can own. He said, yeah, she'll be into that. I said, I say 8,500, I'll have it, you know, I'll clean it up, I'll owner finance it, 2,000 down, and $250 a month, she pays the maintenance fee. So he said, oh, she'll like that, you know, so he sent it off to her, and I don't know where she was, but. So I left my buddy and I went over to, back to where I was staying at my other friend's house, the guy who I was with. So we pulled up to his house and he went upstairs and I was at the car. Well, I knew this other guy, I stay there quite often at my buddy's house, where we just end up buying a condo. This other guy's an investor. So I saw him, I said, hey, you know anybody looking for a trailer? I never stop at one. Yeah, I mean, never trust anybody that, you know, buyers are liars and sellers are worse, right? So I said, you know anybody looking for trailers? And the guy said, yeah. He says, you know, I'm always looking for something, you know, and I know a buddy of mine who's looking. I said, well, listen, I got it sold for $8,500, but you know what? If it comes up at 65 cash, I'll take it. So yeah, so you know, well, the one guy went out there, he didn't want it. It wasn't his style. It went with his dad. He started picking it apart. And my buddy started getting all worried. I say, you know, don't worry about what people say, all kinds of things. So yeah, but the other guy's out there, so he's going to give me an answer today. You know, I want to turn this thing before the end of the month because I don't want to pay that $600 maintenance fee. But you know, if I have to pay one of them. So anyway, I left him. My buddy's down there. I said, listen, I just want you to clean it. Just the kitchen, just polish it up. And, you know, don't buy anything because I might have the flipper guy get it. And if the $8,500 lady comes there, then we'll just get the carpet in there. But everything will be done, and we'll just get a carpet guy or somebody to slam that carpet in. We'll just take a few minutes. but there's always a way to do a deal, no matter what the price is. I don't care how many zeros that we get, there's always a way to get the money. Get the good deal, we can find the money, so. And you can do those things all day long down there.
We just got a text from friends of ours up in Indiana that does what we do, Steve, down here.
Mhm.
And he said he just bought a house yesterday for $101.
That's Indiana.
Yeah.
$140.
He'll find them for $800-900. He's bought them before for $2.
Yeah, we went 2 weeks ago, because I wanted to get $100 house,
Yeah.
but they didn't have any $100 house.
And he'll do exactly what you do. He'll
Are they just
sign.
like back property taxes though?
No, they're foreclosures.
Closures.
Yeah.
The
So
bank
you might-
just doesn't want them in inventory?
Right. No, they just count them and then,
And they're not, I mean, they're not. bad
Are they,
shape at all.
did you check what I mentioned before? Are they the CMO collateralized mortgage obligations?
no, I
They
didn't
got-
go into that deep, the shit about the government.
Yeah,
backing
if they were
80%.
banks that failed, they got picked up. and-
Yeah, no, I didn't.
My guess would be that's probably why, because let's say it was $100,000 mortgage, but that area just got
Right.
devastated by 2008. Then when the bank failed, that whoever bought that would get guaranteed 80,000 plus all the back interest.
Right.
They get 80% FDIC loss share guarantee. So in rural areas like that, or some of these banks that failed, that, where these properties got picked up, yeah.
Well,
They auction it, they say $100, and if somebody takes it, the bank still gets 80,000 from the government.
They do what they call a Super Tuesday, where they do the drive-bys, all the houses coming in.
Well, it's not
And we
admitted
went-
like it is here.
We went with them,
Mm-hmm.
and the nice thing about up there is 90% of them are vacant, like it used to be around here.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore.
No.
Yeah, I used to see it all the time.
And
I've got 50 different, every single key of every house will open all those vacant house doors. You can't get in it.
And the difference between there and here,
Mhm.
the people have to be out the day of the sale. There is no.
The sheriff's
Yeah,
sale.
the sheriff's
Oh,
sale.
yeah.
Yeah, so they have to be gone. There is no having to go and do eviction and knock on the door and say, hey, I got your property, I need you to.
So like you said, pulling our money together, we could be buying a lot of property. up
Do
there.
they get a sheriff's deed at the sale?
Yeah, he went down there, remember the
Oh,
day
that's
he
right,
spoke
that's
at.
right, because we had to circle back around so he could go pick it up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, good. Are they more often than not cash sales?
That's what they are, cash.
Okay, they're all, sheriff sales are always,
Yeah.
And they do it different too, because what they do is they have all the, because they're not like when you go down, I mean, they only do it once a month, and they'll have them listed like on a screen like this. And so you go up, if you plan on bidding on different properties, and you submit that you're going to bid on a property, and if you do, the property lights up. Well, if a property is not lit up, then
They don't auction.
they don't auction it. It gets avoided totally. It's because it's not lit up. And so they don't do
You gotta
that
put that up
long.
on the screen one of these days.
Yeah, they don't do that long legal jargon.
you put $100 bid on anything basically, and they all light up.
Yeah, but most people don't.
Yeah.
They're picky and
You
choosy.
just take the air conditioner out and you just made money.
Yeah.
For the
If you want to bid today, you need to let us know because, if you
And
don't,
these
these
are
properties
these
are gone.
rural areas or are these outside of?
Yeah, they're in the
Well, some of
city.
them, you've ever heard of Muncie, Indiana?
Yeah.
All state, that's where he's at.
You see, these are the things that you, like, just down with, what I did with this one guy, I told 3 or 4, and we all know each other, we told 3 or 4 or 5 other guys, they're all going, yeah, bro, let's get some of those deals. Alright, now slow down, now here's what you gotta do first. I said, let's get some ads out there that we have these properties, again, and let's get a list of buyers, like, and I'm using Steve's technique of finding the damn buyers
We're not
first.
that far from Evansville.
I know, not that far from Indiana.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half,
2 hours.
2 hours max, yeah.
That's where one of our bloggers lives, and that was just, so we got some eyes up there.
I've been to the casino.
Well, we met a guy, was it last summer that we met that guy who relocated to Indiana because he didn't have much money to start and he was doing so good there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he just moved his whole family and they moved to Indiana and, very successful now.
Evansville, I think, is actually doing okay. There's a decent amount of industry there.
It's okay, like 3 or 4 hours up, right?
No, it's like 2 hours.
how long did it take us to get to Ron and Big?
It takes about 5.
It's right about 60 miles north of Lamberton Lakes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What are property taxes like?
They're one,
Yeah.
They give you money.
they're 1 point of the value.
That's it.
So if the house is 30,000,
It's
it's
roughly
300.
equivalent,
Yeah.
more, less than Davidson, more than the surrounding.
But you have to remember, the property values, like a
A
house
lot
here
lower,
in East Nashville would go for 150, there it's 20,000.
Yeah.
Same kind of house.
Yeah.
And they're not in bad shape. Some of them.
Well, the guys online, talk about Indianapolis quite a bit. That's one of the cities that they push as a
Now,
little bit
that's a little more
less, a
competitive.
little bit less dangerous than Memphis as far as being able to you can still cash flow property in Indianapolis.
Right.
And it's not quite you
There's some
can do really well in Memphis, but it's a little more dangerous. But Indy,
Oh, I got some big property in Memphis from those guys down there. They gotta call you. They got huge tracts of land and some property. I said, well, Steve flies in Memphis all the time. And that's the beauty of reaching out across the country, because people got money, ideas, property all over the place.
Right. Just do it before.
well,
it
it's,
snows.
that stuff definitely interests me. I
Oh,
think,
me too.
like, for part of the group here, we were just talking about earlier, just getting out and, you know, we're each doing our business a certain way. You know, if you're gonna do some wholesaling or trying to make deals without money, that's definitely possible. It's more often than not, though, it's a little bit of groundwork.
I'm like a slumlord, I guess.
And you know what's nice about it there, Steve, is when you buy it, it's clean. The title.
Yes, yes.
It's
we
kind
get a
of
sheriff's
like
deed.
here, when you
Sheriff's
buy something
Yeah.
out for sure, you gotta go through all that research and making sure it's clean there.
If you buy it. So they do not sell second mortgages by a sheriff's deed?
Well, I'll have to check with him. I think they'll tell you if it is.
Okay, yeah.
See, you know the beauty with that is, you put a sign there, owner finance. You'll get 8 million calls. You do get 8 million calls when you put a lease purchase or owner financing. Yeah, you can take whatever money down. You're there for $100.
Yeah, that's right.
He's taking back a house.
And you won't have to worry about that going back qualifying because the house is in bad shape.
Well, that's what Jim Allen's done in Cheatham County for years.
Oh, yeah,
He's made, I mean, he's made $250,000 a year just on turning trailers around in Cheatham County.
Learned that from his dad.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
was telling me that the tax sales up there's a guy, and he goes almost the whole state of Indiana. He buys like 40,000 of them every time the tax sales.
The cheapest ones.
Yeah, he's pulled money
Yeah,
together and
yeah.
does it that way.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I was telling Muhammad, it's all about finding
Yeah.
extra
You have to
money.
buy the big ones.
Well, yeah, and that's
It's the
what,
percentage.
that's sort of what our talk is gonna be today on how do you find deals and how do you find money and how do you find things. Hey, listen, I'm sorry, but I got a little emergency I gotta take care of.
I don't have a problem finding $100.
You got that in your sock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You got more than that in your
it's
sock.
yeah, but it's problem getting, more money.
I'm sorry, I got an emergency, I got
Okay.
So you can literally take $4,000 or $5,000 down there and control quite a bit.
Well, it depends. Now, they're not always $100, but like,
Right.
when we
Yeah.
went that day with Ron, you know, some properties went for 30,000, one went for 7,000, but, you know, it's a different market, and so you're looking, you know, the properties are valued a lot less. The problem that you run into there is you wanna go into that market, not so much, yeah, you can't sell, but they're gonna set longer, is if you wanna get something for not a lot of money, or not a lot of money to buy it and rent it out.
Yeah, or owner finance. Yeah, that's the
no
key.
more repairs.
Yeah, that's right. That's the key, doing the owner finance deal. And even, I mean, if you owner finance it, you can probably pull your cash back out, at least what you got into it, if you wanted to.
Yeah, way under
Yeah. My favorite story of Ron's, I will have to get him sometime, he's in town to come, because he's very hilarious to listen to his stories of things that he bought, is the time that he went to a sale, he bought a house literally for $600, He went right to the sale, he picked the deed up, went, because the house was vacant, put a sign in the yard for rent. The neighbor next door walked over and said, hey, do you own this? My friend wants to rent it. He rented it the same day for $600.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, see, what's interesting is I can't think of it, that just doesn't exist in Tennessee.
No.
I mean, I see all the foreclosures in the state, it's not, now I see $100 bids come up in Florida, and they have sheriff sales also. They do the bidding online, I'm not 100% familiar with their process, I'm sure.
I am,
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so you've done
say
that.
a lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
have you guys bought many of them?
You gotta go put 5% down on what you're gonna bid
Oh, I
in
see.
a cashier's check, and it's gotta be in the day before by 2:00.
And you have to physically take it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
So if you're playing ball a lot, you can do well.
it's costly.
so you can't
and then
put that extra check.
So then what I had to do, put the deposit in, then I had to put down the amount that I was gonna bid in there. So I had to put a 97,000.
Which one was that?
You had to
Cardinal
put your
Drive.
cash.
We had to put the cash in there of 97.
Right, because if they took the bid, they
Right.
would pull the money.
And the reason,
Oh, you had to
otherwise I
have
would
all of
have
your cash before the.
yeah, otherwise you've got until like, I think it's 2:00 to pay them. Well, I wasn't gonna drive,
Oh, I see what you're
halfway to pay
So
'em.
you could actually deliver your cash there with your maximum
Right,
bid.
but you have to have your bid in the day before.
But you don't, do you only get a one bid shot, or is it a round robin on the bidding?
No, you started out.
Okay, you're doing it online,
Yeah. you're
but
doing
you have
it.
to input what your maximum would be, and you can't go above that
Well, you can if you got more deposit.
deposit.
Yeah.
Okay. So technically with the 97,000, if you wanted to drive back, you could have gone back,
And
because
raise
that,
the
your
bid.
deposit was 97,000, okay.
Yeah.
So 5% of the price, sheriff's sale, you bring it to the
Well,
local
it's a county sale.
count, okay,
Right.
county sale. Bring it to the local, register of deeds or whoever it is,
Right.
or court clerk or whoever it would be in the county. And then, what about the competition down there? I mean, you guys get a lot of, not a ton?
This place I bid, it was probably worth about 130, and it was right across the street from one that we own.
Yeah.
That would.
I would think that we are more competitive than they are.
They are.
Depends upon
We are.
that particular.
No, we are, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, but
I would
I didn't
think-
get it, the thing we needed $20,000 worth. The only reason I did that high is because we only won across the street. But I didn't get it because the bank went high.
I think Atlanta and Memphis are competitive like that too, just because there's so much activity,
And then over to the right,
Yeah.
that they get that kind of competition in the auctions.
and it'll say this is taking you to the Florida website.
But a lot of
Do you
times,
wanna go?
like him, up in
So then
Indiana,
it
a lot of people don't wanna mess with the lower money.
Sure.
They think they might buy something, halfway decent looking.
And on there you see ton.
I mean, that $100 purchase is gonna make more than a guy who spent 300,000.
It's funny that you say that. There's some people that expect to buy the lowest stuff out there, and they don't care what it looks like.
Right.
You're right, you're right.
I think Greg was,
He was buying some kind of land bank. They've got hundreds of properties next to them. You can make a ton of money. It's where, yeah. So we're, yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know much to how to get out. Some great parts of Memphis. Yeah, I was born in Memphis. I was born in Fraser. Yeah. No, it's just it's a it's going downhill. That's okay. That's your job to go. I like Memphis. Quite frankly, I think people in Memphis. I mean, I'm just saying. I think people in Memphis are some friends. I would really enjoy it, but it's just that there's a narrow band which Now, they made their own money, but they got the in-laws. That's always interesting. There's all works in question. And,
We had somebody raise their hand. Yeah. On screen. Rogroski. Robert. Hello. He's on there twice, actually.
ask them.
Hey, Andrea, can you find out from Robert what he needs?
Lunch was interesting. So you got workforce housing and affordable stuff. Right? In the past, a lot of places. But I think that's what I would say. Yeah. We see options, so unless you like
Yeah, maybe that.
I noticed the property taxes going up. That's a
Clarksville?
sign.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a sign. Something's getting ready to happen.
It's gonna go up here.
So-
We got our letters today.
Oh, did you?
Davidson County got their letters today.
Oh, we're gonna get absolutely.
Oh, they've been waiting for it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, you know, when I went in to pay my property taxes on the property, that's what the lady said. She said, "You're not gonna like us next year." I said, "Oh, really?"
Oh,
No,
man.
no,
Well, they want to fund that rail.
37%. They're gonna.
They already started.
You know,
But what's interesting to me, this is why I always find it, and this is just property taxes in particular. House values go up. I just wish these guys would be held accountable to how our local economy is done. House values go up, taxes go up with them. But when they raise the percentage of it, and that's just that much more of you that they own. So like, let's say the millage rate is, 3.5 mils, okay. Well, the house value goes up to 300,000 from 200,000. That's a 33% tax increase. Well, if your local government is doing a good job, that just happens naturally. But when in 2012, when they raised the millage 53 cents, I mean, that literally that's a larger percentage of you that they have. Which to me, the problem with that is there's never any accountability back the other way. In other words, and what happens in the case of Memphis, they kept on having to raise it up and up and up and up and up. The larger it has to become a larger source of revenue. Property value is decreasing, and then you have this sort of inverse relationship where people want to move out. So where do they go? They go, out to Arlington. They go up to Brighton, Atoka. They go south down to South Haven. I mean, so they go spread out all the other ways. So.
Yeah, and they don't appropriate road construction to the growth areas. I mean, we've watched about 70,000 people move down to Nolensville. Well, they're never going to widen that road until people just go bonkers for that road to be 4 lane.
They might in Nolensville. It seems like Nolensville, I don't follow it too closely, but it seems like they tend to be a little younger and a little more pro-growth. They're not quite as stuffy as Brentwood is about not letting anybody in that they don't like. It just seems like they're willing to kind of actually grow in Nolensville. So I could foresee them actually widening that one day. In Brentwood, it's like you can't do anything.
Yeah, we still have 1 lane under the railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Honk your horn.
Yeah, Wilson Pike, you drive around
Oh, yeah.
and that little S curve, and why is this here? Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a little bit intentional.
absolutely it is.
I think it's
Yes.
I wanted to ask a question if I could. I feel bad, but we lost a little bit of audio, so I lost some of the discussion. But I wanted to ask Les a question, if he doesn't mind explaining something to me. You said that you lost a particular property because the bank outbid you, and I was wondering what would be their motivation. I don't know the answer, so that's why I'm asking you is, why would they outbid you? Was it the bank weren't they the ones trying to sell it in the first place? And then they outbid you?
Yeah, they were the one that foreclosed. You gotta realize, they always start this stuff out like at $100. And they got judgment lien, is how they do it there in Florida.
Okay.
It goes through the court system and it gets a judgment amount. A lot of times they'll discount that judgment amount where it won't be as much what they'll take. But they did.
They had a minimum on there.
Okay, so in other words, your bid was too low for them. They wouldn't take it. They were looking for something more. Okay.
I'll tell you what that is. You gotta keep bidding against them.
Some of these bids are,
Thank you, Les.
some of these bids are value-based bids, so when you go to the auction, they base the price off of value. For example, one that we partnered on recently, the big one that we bought for $765,000. Well, that is very, very conspicuously 85% of $900,000. Now, what's interesting is the owner of that property was actually trying to work for a low appraisal. She was trying to get a short sale done. And we were fortunate because it was a high-end property. But this particular lender did a value-based price. In other words, they priced the auction at 85% of the broker price opinion. Now, not everyone's going to do that. There could be a variety of factors when you go to these auctions that could determine what that price could be. It could be, if there's mortgage insurance involved, whoever the investor is, lender, there's no real specific rhyme or reason. It's an individual decision per the investor that owns the paper that's auctioning it. So in this situation where Les is talking about, whatever that judgment lien is, that bank could have offered it at $100, or in these situations like I mentioned in Indiana, we had these bundled securities that were put together on the secondary market. A lot of this stuff got bought for pennies on the dollar, or banks that failed, and all of this stuff got bought through DebtX on the FDIC website. It got bought in probably $50 million tranches. When these things all split up, they had FDIC guarantees for 80% of the loan amount. So if it's a $100,000 loan and it's been accruing interest for 5 years or 6 years, it could be $130,000, and they may have purchased this for 10 cents on the dollar. So they purchased $50 million worth of these bad loans for $5 million, but they've got an FDIC guarantee if they foreclose, if they're not performing, to get 80% back. That's why they listed at $100, because they absolutely want it to sell regardless, because they have a government guarantee for the sale. So there's different rationale behind why these things get priced where they do at the auctions. Now some of these auctions, like in Florida, you're saying you've got 5% down, you got to deliver it to the county to be able to bid online. Right. So that's where you are, Andrea. And I assume it's similar. I know I've played around with this before. I haven't actually done it in Florida, unless you guys have done it. In Indiana, you're bringing cash or cashier's check.
Well, actually, he didn't have to.
No,
he had until what, 1 o'clock?
Yeah, he had until 1 o'clock. We had to take him to the bank
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
to go get money.
Like
So same day funds.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually convenient.
Yeah.
So they do sheriff sales in Indiana, and they can get their money the same day. That's a real convenient scenario.
Yes.
We used to do that here. We used to actually be able to flip contracts. And, I say flip contracts. There'd be 20 of us in line to buy a property. One guy would pass. We'd get placements in line because we didn't have to have the money for 24 hours. And then, they call you 30 days later and, your turn came up. It's everybody else passed. Yeah, I probably gosh, in 2012, I probably flipped at least 50 Shapiro and Wilson deals like that when they used to do it that way. I mean, that was fun. It was a lot easier back then.
So you could literally not even really have anything into it. You just go down there and bid.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now you had your gas, people need to call.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, work something out.
You had to make that film.
It was a little bit of a game. This, especially in Memphis, because there's a lot of stuff, so many were going to Memphis at the time. And so that's probably one of the reasons why they backed out, because literally the work involved that they were having to process those. And wholesalers were just, I mean, and then people making a lot of money. Good wholesaler in Memphis can do really, really well. But yeah, that's, you know, I wouldn't doubt it if Shapiro was processing 100 bids on some of these, and literally, you know, they might get to the 50th one before they get a real buyer. Well, it's gonna take it down. Someone just throw a random number out there to place in line sometimes. So did that help you out, Andrea?
Yes, very much so.
Where do we see the market going in the next year?
You know, we're going to start. I'm going to start delivering some market data for you guys when we do these meetings, just to kind of keep. I was thinking about that. You know, I hate to speculate. I really should study some more of the macroeconomic trends. I think Nashville is doing good, but as I've said before, there are certain trends that drive all of this. You can look at
Count the cranes. They're running out
Yeah.
of cranes.
you can look at disposable income, interest rates, and there's curves, there's correlation curves. Historically, the line will move all around that curve, but you know, money has been really cheap. I mean, there's a reason for that. You know, it's a game. You know, it's part of it's kicking the can down the road. Eventually, I liken it to this, right? You guys know, like a gel bubble. You know, you get a gel bubble that's got gel in it. Well, the economy's like this too. So when the Fed, makes changes in monetary policy, fiscal policy, they're squeezing the bubble. Well, if you squeeze that gel bubble, it's got to go out somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have easy money, okay, for a while we had inflation. Our food prices and gas prices just said boom, okay, because they squeezed that bubble. In other words, they did this. They called it the twist, the Federal Reserve. So what they did was they knew they were going to have to buy the banks out. They had to they had to do it with $1 trillion, and they had to basically make interest rates zero, and then they try to lock down the price of the long-term debt for the government, because the government wants to keep spending the money. They have to be able to make that price low. But really all it is, it's a tax on the everyday person in everything that you buy. It's called inflation. So that your currency is worth less because the Fed prints the money. Anyway, long story being short, or made short, if the size of our debt relative to GDP is, I mean, it's not where Greece is, but there are other nations that are better. It's certainly manageable, but it's not very fiscally sound. So there's so many X factors in that. You can have another World Trade Center bombing. You can have, all of a sudden North Korea drops a nuke on Washington. You don't know what's going to happen. So I hate to prognosticate. I mean,
I wonder, though, I mean, like, as far as rents in Nashville, they seem out of control.
I think they're out of control. I think it's,
That's,
I don't like, there's still some sound things that I think, like, if you ask my opinion, if you're looking, depending on what your style of investing is, if you're looking to buy and hold, there's always areas where I think have flipped, okay? I think Donaldson has flipped. It's not going back. Donaldson was always undervalued. You got big, pretty ranch houses on acre lots that you used to be able to buy for $100,000, close into downtown, close, I mean, it was always undervalued. Donaldson's flipped, it's not going back. Old Hickory, interesting, but yeah, I'm gonna have to say probably yes. I mean, you know, so you got the villages of Old Hickory, which always had, you know, which is an interesting story in itself. Between 9th and 15th Street, you actually have houses that were workforce houses that were built for the DuPont employees, and there are 4 different kinds of houses. They're actually, you know, you got the little like sort of Dutch colonials, but they're just like, they're almost like, you know, just like craftsmen did bungalows. They built, and the closer you got to the lake, the bigger the houses were. So the ones on the lake have some really cool. Yeah, they were like the guys that were high up in DuPont, and then the lower ones, they were the ones working with the chemicals. So that was like the lower life. Yeah. The factory workers.
Yeah.
No, the center, no, it has, now the historic part of Old Hickory, those houses have been expensive for a long time. Gosh, I sold one on Birdsall that was just an absolute little dollhouse. I'll never forget it. It was just the greatest little house. Great deal on that house. So Cleveland Park has turned, not coming back, not going back. I think that Elizabeth Park and Buena Vista have turned, and they're not going back.
Trinity Lake area.
See now now is where you're talking different. So Elizabeth Park and Buena Vista, okay, so like German, it's like an extension of Germantown. Trinity is like.
Well, you know they bought that those apartment houses.
You know what? Everybody.
It's on Facebook. You know the ad. 1.5 million.
You know, everybody's going to make land play. Everybody's going to keep pushing.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, this is part. But I think one dynamic that we're not talking about, that has to be talked about, is the demographics. So the millennials are a bigger generation than the boomers. And the boomers right now are the parents of the millennials, and they're helping fund.
Yeah.
So what happened is the millennials got out of college, they didn't buy houses. They didn't have the money.
Sure.
They went and lived with mom and dad. They had too many student loans. Well, there was so much pent up demand. We had a decade of it. And what's happened now is they all moved down the basement, and they had to start buying houses. They got moved up in their jobs a little because they've been in the market for 5 years now. And what's happening too is mom and dad are migrating to follow them where they went.
Sure. No, that's a very good point. They go suburban.
We've got 2 things happening. We've got migration of parents, and we've got millennials coming into the market. And that's going to be a long time before that demand is satisfied. Because right now, we are still something like 30% under, like we don't have houses for 30% of people who want to get into the housing market.
FHA loan for the student loans, that kind of slows stuff down.
What was that?
And they say they count 1% of the debt, because they say you double dipping.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get student loans and get a loan for a house. So they,
I thought they counted the student loan anyway, towards your back
they
end.
count your payment, but what you're paying.
Towards your back end ratio.
But now they changed to 1% of what you owe. But if you owe $50,000 student loan, your payment is $500 a month.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's not what your actual payment was. Okay, gotcha. It's like 1%. Yeah. They twisted it to say you actually got to be able to pay this debt off.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's funny that you say that, because now this is, in fact, I'm pushing, I don't know if I'm going to stay in this deal. I have a property that's off of Broadmoor, 76 units, and I'm pushing the development partners to do a millennial-friendly development. Actually, and have one of our things that we were going to sell is an Airbnb package, where you can get a design with a separate entrance and a little kitchenette to actually be able to, in other words, do some things for part of the sharing economy in the development that make it unique that millennials will want, because a lot of millennials are doing the Airbnb and the.
Right, but have the zone overlays kept up with that? Because if you don't
Oh,
have a zone
absolutely.
overlay,
If you live there though, if you live there, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you live
Steve?
in, yes.
If I could, I'd like to chime in. Just, it's kind of ironic that we're having this conversation about the millennials and the Airbnb stuff. I have,
Make fun of them.
oh no, I have an artist. You know, I work on a graphic novel, and I have an artist who lives out in Crescent City, California, and he just bought an old house that dates from 1916, and he was talking about what he was going to do with it, and apparently it's zoned both for commercial and residential, because a previous owner was actually a doctor, and he used the house to to have a practice right out of his own house. Anyway, long story short, my artist who just bought this house is intending to do Airbnb with it because of that little kind of anomaly in the zoning.
I used to own the oldest house in Germantown, that in Nashville, that was the same thing. It was 2,000 square feet. It's a commercial, people can have like doctor's offices, lawyers, dentists. It's not full retail space, but it's a office residential zoning. It's an OR is what we call it here in Nashville. Music Row also has the same zoning where you'll see a lot of music studios in old houses up and down 15th, 16th, 17th Avenue. But the office residential zoning can be extremely valuable. And some of these, like Lenox Village, some of these new urbanism type developments, have the whole live, work, play concept that they put into that, and they will have the office / for the professional to do exactly that. Which I think is absolutely fabulous. I've always loved that kind of, because you've got people like me who just don't do anything but real estate. Yeah, I should be traveling a little bit more, but that'll come here eventually once we get once green is worldwide. We'll do a lot more traveling.
I think there's also association to our banning Airbnb. So
absolutely. Yes.
What's the big factory there off of Rosa Parks?
Northern Mills.
Yeah, you cannot.
Oh, no.
They'll find the heck out of it.
Most of them won't let you do it.
Yeah.
Most of them won't let you do it, especially if you have like Northern Mills. It's interior access to your condos. So yeah, they're totally. Oh yeah, my subdivision they won't let you. No way. No. They don't want temporary rentals. But normally, if people invite someone into their house, it's different. So if you actually live there and you're doing it, it's not quite as difficult. But, yeah, totally.
So there's not much they can do about it.
I can make mortgage payments. Stephanie, who comes here, she bought a condo. Bought a condo in Franklin, and she's making her mortgage payment with it. So, yeah. But no, it's interesting as you say. So we're talking about Nashville. I do think you can actually answer these questions if you study economics, and both from a macro and a micro standpoint. I do sense that Nashville is doing well comparatively, on a microeconomic standpoint. On the macro scale, no, it's. I think it's a horrible prognosis. I mean, when you put free money out there, it just creates bubbles. And the way these bubbles works is the people who know how to game the system are going to make money on bubbles. Now, we should be aware of all of this and how it's going to affect us. We're going to have these roller coaster rides in real estate, and eventually the whole world's probably going to look like Florida and California, where they ride that thing up, and then and people literally become millionaires by buying the biggest dump in Los Angeles at $300,000 and selling it at $800,000. And then they just do that. And so the world may become that way. I don't know. Or the cities anyway. But so I always say if you buy in an area that has flipped and you buy below the median price point in that area, you should be fine. If the area's not going back, Cleveland Park has turned, it's not going back. Sylvan Park was that 25, 30 years ago. It turned, obviously, you see where it is now. Yeah. So now what's interesting is, now the question comes when you look at Antioch, which is interesting, because Antioch had in Laverne, same thing.
Yeah.
A massive preponderance of first-time buyers. Well, these first-time buyers in 2006, 2004, 2003 through 2007, and they just flooded in there, and that just got massacred. But now it's come back.
Yeah.
And so, there's just not a lot of cheaper alternatives. I don't think it can get hurt that much, and it's newer housing.
Yeah.
So
What do you think about that? That's a hard.
Well, they're not making any more land closer to Nashville.
Yeah.
It's always what I tell people.
It's
That's what I feel about Antioch.
I've always loved the area right off, two areas, off of Neely's Bend and right off of 65. So you come right off the interstate, and everything else in Madison, I've always thought you could just throw it in the landfill. And I've done a little, but it is.
My first house was off Neely's Bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a beautiful area. If you go further down towards the river, it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, amazing. There's no alternatives. You could look. The question right now is you can draw concentric circles from the middle of downtown Nashville and be safe within the value point. So the question becomes.
Well, once they, once you go over Riley Parkway, but everything inside that ring, people love. You know, if they're around Stratford. And
I flipped a house once on 16th Avenue, and that was scary. I mean, and when I say scary, I mean I bought it for like $32,000, sold it for $48,000, didn't do anything to it. Bought it from Bankport South. Bought it. They had foreclosed, and Chris Marquetti called me, so bought it. It was cheap enough. Flipped it. I think Ross Riley had sold that. I don't remember Ross. Yeah. Ross sold it, and that area's turned. I mean, it's not anything. All of it, and even out. And there's nothing. You would ask yourself, like naturally, why going further out to the Nations would turn it. It's kind of, the Nations is a little bit of an extension of Sylvan Park. It's got its own character, but then again, not as much as Fisk or Meharry, that area. So you would have thought that it may have turned earlier. So if you
the housing projects in 2 years.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
South Nashville.
Well, when they took the projects there on Charlotte and turned them into houses,
Well, see, they're not doing that way.
Let me tell.
It's a different plan they're doing. Actually, they're market people coming in and they're doing a mix, like low income and.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're not, so you can buy a property.
Yeah.
It's not.
So it's not fixed.
And then their rent is not a fixed rent, it's a higher rent.
Interesting.
So it's not, okay, low income, no, anybody can move.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting though, and I know we're running up a little bit, but the one thing that I'm really interested in, when I first got into real estate in '86, interest rates were at 10 to 11%. When I went back in '94, they were between 8 and 9.5%. And everybody bought houses. It wasn't keeping people from buying. Now, if you're not getting 3.5%, people, man, 4.5%. Come on. Yeah, so that's what's interesting to me.
The puppet masters know how to play the game. You've got to be aware. It's not necessarily to your disadvantage. It's not, but you got to be aware of what it
But
is.
the taxes.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's right. I'll tell you one quick story, and then we're going to go into more of the local market because I think we need to understand. I'm going to start trying to put together some data sheets just so people can kind of get their feel. because you gotta have your feet under you where you're landing right now. I had one of my first clients, which is funny. I remember that Wilson Pike. I sold a house to Karen and Jimmy from a little big town. The weekend they got married over. What's that new urbanism subdivision over there?
Okay,
No, off where the railroad on the backside.
Oh,
Rain Tree Forest?
No,
Too far.
like patio homes. It's like a Lennox. I can't
Yeah.
even think of the name of it.
I know.
The railroad tracks on one side, wildlife preserve on the other side.
I know where
You
you're
gotta drive through on Wilson Pike.
It's right over by Ravenswood, the mansion.
There's two sections. One is a newer one, one's the bigger one. The condos.
It's not,
You flipped the house right around the corner.
it's not Ruby Grand over there.
No, it's
on the deck, so.
it's off of McEwen.
Yes, at the end of McEwen.
Yeah.
Right there
Yeah.
on Wilson Pike.
Wilson
Yes.
Pike and McEwen.
Oh, I know where you're
Penny,
talking
Penny
about.
Way.
That's the condos.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's something. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
But I remember driving through that little tiny bridge every day. But I had to put this into perspective about neighborhoods and changes in areas. I remember one of my first clients in 2001, they wanted to be close to Green Hills, under 150,000. So I found them a house, a 2,000 square foot house on Montrose. Do you know what Montrose is? For $95,000.
Yeah.
This was 2001. 2,000 square foot house on Montrose. They didn't like that neighborhood. Yeah. I'm just saying, they didn't like that neighborhood. So that just shows you, if you do, that's the heart 12 side.
Yeah.
Literally the center of the heart 12 side. So, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of change is, I think Nashville's headed in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of cranes, that's for sure. There's a lot of people.
I believe it.
living in it.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll keep it open. If you guys want to sit chat, if anybody needs to sign up for any, do our online training, you can sign it up.
Juiced up there.
And thanks for
I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
coming.